Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Maryland Jockey Club at Laurel Park. I'm Dan Illman, along with Keith Fustel. Welcome to a Saturday Stakes Day edition of Today at the Races. 9 on tap today, 2 stakes races for the 3-year-olds.
Yeah.
They are competitive races.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. We've got the Wide Country and the Miracle Wood for the 3-year-olds, the boys and girls. Going a mile is the Miracle Wood. A later scratch just came in on Studley Do Right. The 7th race, the Wide Country Stakes stays intact. Yeah, it's 7th, highly competitive. Really, like 5 or 6 of them, really difficult to split in there. And interesting. I'm going to come back and I'll tell you who I like already in the Miracle Wood. Sacred Thunder off that troubled trip, but you got a horse like Paid Billy. Boy, is he kind of rounded into great form. Has enjoyed the stretch out in distance. Really looking forward to later in the card when we hit those features.
And I'm really looking forward to going outside and interviewing the connections after
Yeah.
the races because as we
yeah.
take a look at our weather conditions,
Sunny.
it's warming up.
Yes.
It's a sunny day. The track is fast. The temperature's at 35, but considering where we've been with the wind recently,
Yeah.
it's going to feel like it's 50.
Huge relief with the wind, just right there at 8 miles an hour. Really no influence whatsoever. I tell you, we're going to be outside soon, Dan, I think. You get that outside studio cranked up and ready to go.
Looking forward to it. Head on out to the apron if you're here at Laurel Park for the opener because we're starting right in front. Mile and a 16th.
Yes.
Let's take a look at this field. 7,500 down to 6. Field of 8. Competitive group of hard-hitting older claimers. Morning line favorites, the 7 Winged Foot. Of course, race number 1 is the first leg of the 20-cent value pick 5 wager. It's a 50-cent minimum wager. Pick the winner of the first 5 races. The key aspect of this bet is simple. Low 12% takeout. It is a player-friendly bet.
It is, no doubt. I thought it paid well yesterday. We suffered a brutal beat in the opener, or we're looking probably at an $800 to $1,000 ticket. Hopefully you came back, followed it up with the pick 4. We advise that, so don't ever give up on us. So we're going to get this started, though. It's a $36 early value pick 5 with that 12% takeout, 50-cent minimum, 367 to get you started. Race 2, center around the 2, Stormy Hollow, and the 6, ABC. If you can afford a little bit more, maybe toss in Cool Train, the 5, another one of those Damon Dilladovico runners. Race 3, 2 deep with the 5 and the 7, Order of the Kettle. A little bit of that speed comes out. The other Caron gets scratched the big enchilada there in race 3. Race 4, Golden Philly going to try to take him coast to coast. She relished the off-track last time. Will she get a little bit more pressure early? I'm going to also add the 4 Moon Cash and the 7 My Dear Antonia. Wrap it up. Race 5, the 1A War Master stays in. Scratch the plain ones, Troncino, and the 4 Cocktails at Noon. I'm also going to add in, it's a little late change there for me, Hornbeam. Pick that one up. I think this one's going to bounce back to a better effort. The last 2, there's some sneaky issues there that's, maybe projecting me. I think we got some improvement off the claim for Hornbeam. $36.
$36 play
Yeah.
for Keith's 12% low takeout value early pick 5. Let's start things off with your top pick in the
Okay.
opener. That's the 6 Morning Thoughts. We've got a video spotlight for Morning Thoughts, who looks like the main and controlling speed today.
Yeah, if this is ever a race, that he should be getting back to the winner's circle right here. This particular afternoon, we're going to show this race on the 8th of February, going ahead and making that move into the flow on February the 8th. I thought this was all in all a pretty good effort. Everett Song in very good form is going to be your eventual winner. But Morning Thoughts battles on past mid-stretch just to fade very late. Heavier surface. I think this track might be a little bit more bounce. Actually saw some scraping there as we were walking down here to the studio. Might be a little livelier this afternoon. Morning Thoughts need an alert break with Toledo. Heavy on, get this one out, get clear and nurse, and I think you'll take this field coast to coast.
Very dangerous pace play. He's at his best when he's on the lead. And as we saw in the last race, there was some hitting in the early portion. They had to take him in hand, and he prompted the pace. He was moving very well going into the stretch, but you're right. The competition is in very sharp form. The winner of that race is doing very, very well, Everett Song. I think he gets to the front here.
Okay.
I got him in the mix. I think he's dangerous. Winged Foot, though, is a horse that needs to be closer to the pace. He's only run once at Laurel Park. It resulted in a victory, and if you look at that race, it was a very slow-paced race. He was able to stay close. He's got the right rider to adapt this horse to any pace situation. Where J-Rod, and we got a trainer stat, he's got the right trainer. Jamie Ness has been hot recently. February 6th, February 16th, 12 for 39, 31% winners, a $2.12 ROI. Winged Foot returned to his Parks base after that win at Parks, and he ran pretty well. Last time out, he was second to the favorite. He's a horse that I think can get close, and I think pace is key in this race.
Well, and if he sees Morning Thoughts get out there clear and then just kind of put the brakes on a little bit to try to throttle it down, that's a point where maybe J-Rod's got to go ahead and get aggressive and go ahead and maybe shadow that one. I think Southern District, the two horse that you've got in the mix, I do as well, is another one. A little bit better than the last two, in my opinion. I think this one from the inside post or towards the inside will go ahead and go. He's shown tactical speed in the past.
Let's talk about Gambling Czar, a horse that you have there in the mix. This horse faced a runaway last time out, and he tried to get into it with a big 4-wide bid on the turn. Finished ahead of 3 of these horses. He's obviously in good form.
Those speeds just kept going that day, and he just kind of kept grinding. But an overland trip, moves inside at this 2 turns. Steady enough for me that if a couple of these guys go ahead and do get aggressive early, boy, this race could fall right into the lap of Gambling Czar. I think he's a very, very big player in race 1.
I threw an old-timer in there for second. The 1 Cupid's Claws is going to be a big price. Cheek Pieces off today for a horse with some back class. He's 10 years old. He won a Grade 3 race back in 2020. Last time out, he got wired on a wet track at Parks. The 4th-place finisher came back to win with a 62 buyer. So maybe if this flow does get hot, he can get into it. 6-3-7-2 for Keith. 7-1-2-6 for me in the opener on our Saturday 9-race program. We move on to race number 2. It is a maiden claiming event with a $22,000 purse. These are for the older horses. 12-5 down 10. The Maryland Breds are eligible for the $15,000 claiming price. Scratch out the long layoff runner, the 4 Peace Crusader. ABC is your 6-5 morning line favorite. This is the first leg of our 50-cent pick 4 wager. If you're out of the pick 5, if you're not out of the pick 5, still alive to your pick 4. 50 cents minimum wager, and it is a competitive sequence.
Yeah, I think it is a competitive sequence. In this race 2, I go Stormy Hollow. I think he's kind of settled in at the level where he belongs. He's, still not switching leads. He's staying on that left lead. But you're looking at this race. Here's a horse I forgot, maybe the late adjustment. Irish Nitro, I think, is going to bring speed to the table along with the 1 All Fruits Right. This is one of these situations. Stormy Hollow showed me enough willingness of late to chase, maybe go by the staggerers, and then hold off an ABC, who I think is going to take a lot of play here. You've got lined at 6-5 coming in from Ricci, but doesn't have a whole lot of speed.
And that is the advantage that Stormy Hollow has over ABC. He is way more tactical. I think the 1 All Fruits Ripe is going to go from the inside post. I think Stormy Hollow might be able to sit second or third, get the jump on ABC at turning into the stretch. Now, ABC, I believe, is the best closer in this race, but you're absolutely right. He just simply has no speed. And last time out, he got wired. He finished second that day. The 4th-place finisher from that race came back to win with a 54 buyer speed figure. But we do have a stat. Diane Marishi Barn is doing very, very well. And 2 to 4 month layoffs on dirt. 5 to the last 15, 33%, $3.25 return on investment for ABC. And it could be ABC later if this horse gets some pace.
Well, there's no Mr. Pesci in here, is there? Anybody seen Mr. Pesci? I'm still looking. Galloped by 17 that particular day. But Stormy Hollow, the blinkers went on a couple races back, brought a little bit of focus. He's trying enough. I think he can kind of just go ahead, get by those horses, maybe the All Fruits Right top of the stretch, and then dig in late to hold off ABC.
And
3 sneaky. I am going to toss this one in the exact a little bit.
And Damon has the other horse in here, the 5 Cool Train, to go with Stormy Hollow. Horse is getting some class relief and might have needed that debut from an experience standpoint.
Well, this is the one, the half-sibling, just got nipped on the wire in the opener yesterday. We discussed that one by Uncle Lino, Zio Lino. This one here, very spotty in debut. Some on, some off, up, back. But I thought the last 16th of a mile and continuing through the wire showed enough effort that a little drop here. I think this is a real good drop for Cool Train. You might see a serious form reversal. I don't think it's going to be beating 16 today.
Same exacta, same super, different order. 2-6-5-1 for Keith, 6-2-1-5 for me in race number 2. Let's move on to race number 3. It kicks off a pick 3. This is a 12-5 down to 10 non-winners of 3 life claimer going 3/4 of a mile. Take out the 6. the big enchilada. We do have a stat on my top selection in this race, the number 7, Beach Cowboy, going out for Rudy Sanchez Salomon. This barn's been going well lately, 4 for 15, 216 ROI between February 7th and February the 16th. I think when you go to our YouTube channel where you could watch every single individual race in great detail, we have the pan and the head-on shot, you're going to want to watch Beach Cowboy's last race. And do it from the head-on vision. Because this horse broke from an outside post, and the horse to his inside was lugging out on the backstretch right into him. So he's 4 wide, but he's in the 7 pass. And I think he had to work very hard to get into the race on the outside, and then he understandably tired. This time around, I think Sarah Del Fabro, who has a winner at this meet going to the lead, has to be aggressive and send.
Well, the last time you discussed that tactic with her, she got it done on the front end, and I think the scratch to the big enchilada is really big for Beach Cowboy. And you're right, that race last time out, not as bad as what it looks on paper. The 2-back try, Nancy Made My Day, came back to win a good race last night at Charlestown. Maybe Aim for the Cork can go early. If not, Beach Cowboy with a clear break, just go nurse and take this field coast to coast. Yeah, I think this one's going to be very tough. Gets the major assist with the 6 being out.
Let's talk a little bit about the 2, because we have Aim for the Cork in the mix. This is a horse that seems very well entered. Remember, this is a non-winners of 3 life claimer. Last time out, this one faced a horse named Ellie's Boyfriend, who came out of that race to win his 6th race when he won a nickel starter at Charlestown, and he earned a 77 Beyer speed figure. So this horse seems very well entered. Raul Mania riding in good form.
Yeah, I might like just 5.5, a little bit better than 6, but I think this one will get early position. I don't know if he's quite as quick as Beach Cowboy into the turn. We're going to find out, see if he kind of track and make a move into it. But you're right, this is really, you get some of these races at Charlestown, and they don't, the clauses and stuff, it's in and it's out. You're facing horses 5, 6, 7, 8-time winners. Now you're back to the straight 3 in life. That's a big help for Aim for the Cork. Order the Kettle's another one here. The
double
5
drop
for Kieran McGee, right, making the drop here today. Baracho, Stone Speed Day.
Winner.
Yeah, 17-time winner. Shape Note with a good win yesterday against the grain of the racetrack. Really had no chance in there the way it shaped up. But I think, it's interesting. The other one is out, the other Kieran, but he's going to have to get cranking a little bit earlier. But this is major relief for Order of the Kettle.
And this horse has run some significantly faster races in the past. Maybe he just didn't like the muddy track and the company last time out. Didn't change leads over that muddy track. That's not him.
No.
I think if he is able to change in the stretch, he'll come with a run in this spot. But we're both thinking that Beach Cowboy might be able to get to the front with the weight break. 7-5-2-1 for Keith, 7-2. 5-3 for me in race number 3. We'll move on to race number 4. We're going 2 turns. It's a mile and a 16th event, 40 down to 32. These are 3-year-old fillies. We have a rider change on the 4. Moon Cash Eliseo Ruiz aboard, the second choice on the morning line. This is the first leg of our 20-cent Chesapeake Pick 6 jackpot wager. Pick the first place finisher in each of the 6 races in the Chesapeake Pick 6. If you're the only one, it is a jackpot.
Oh, gotta love it. Gotta love it. Also, the middle pick 4 starts in race number 4. And, jump right on in, 50-cent minimum wager. We've got these pick 4s throughout the racing card. I always like the pick 4s. But no, please take advantage of what we've got to offer here. Race 4, though. Let's go to the video of Moon Cash. We don't have this one on top, right? This filly, 3-year-old filly for Cal Lynch. But I thought all in all, it was an interesting kind of trip. And when she kind of looked beaten, had to recover there from that start. You see the bumped around almost a steady at the break. She gets in a little predicament down inside around the far turn. And Dan, I'll let you pick this up. And she ends up shuffling back several lengths.
I don't know whether this horse just didn't like being down inside, but you see the shuffle after the bump at the start, and now Moon Cash has got to make up a ton of ground against a very good field. We're going to see Onyx 10 a little bit later on as one of the choices in one of the stakes races, the Wide Country. But here's what we're going to see about Moon Cash. This horse changes leads a couple of times in the stretch, but never gives up. Rallies very gamely for third, and you have to wonder, if not for the bump, if not for the shuffle, maybe this horse is a lot closer. Late to change leads, is going to change, then is going to change back. So things that this new rider is going to have to work on. But this horse has ability.
Yeah, very capable rider, Ruiz, coming. He was a jock that I followed a lot as an apprentice, but switching over there late. Calling this chart, I'm like, Where'd this horse come from? How did she come back? She looked completely done at the 3/8. Pick things back up. I think as a player in her, I don't know, Dan, if she's as quick as Golden Philly early, but I think with a better break, she can lay close enough to stalk. Here's a stat, though, for Moon Cash and trainer Cal Lynch.
Offered for the tag for the first time today. Allowance to claiming for Cal, 12 for the last 45, 27%, and a $2.21 return on investment. We both have Moon Cash in the mix. Talk me onto the 7.
Yeah.
My dear Antonia, I missed this one.
Little bit of a reach here for me, and it's a horse that my partner Bill liked last time out at a good number, and I thought she ran sneaky good with the blinkers off. Ran well in debut at 7/8 of a mile. Not easy to do. Did it on the front end. Beating Ade, who's a multiple winner. Yeah, kept company within my memories. Had trouble that 2-back try. So the blinkers came off last time. Green-Eyed Monster came back to run well yesterday. I think stretching out, looking at the family, the bottom side, Kiowa, okay, multiple route winner. I think she can just get position. I wish she had a better post, but I think she's got enough position and maybe to get in front of Nick Notion, drop in. Is a mile and a 16th going to be too much? I don't know. I think seeing the Golden Philly is going to be such a short price, Moon Cash, for that play. I'm looking for value in here, and I think there's another move forward with this one. Second time blinkers coming back off.
Conversely, Golden Philly does have a good post position and tactical
see.
speed, which is advantageous, obviously, going a mile and a 16th here. This horse used the speed to great advantage last time out, but did get to the lead over a speed favoring wet track and might have been carried that day. There are some other speeds, most notably Moon Cash, if it doesn't get bumped out of the start, might be forward. I think J-Rod, though, will be aggressive on Golden Philly and get this horse close to the pace, but tread lightly. This horse is going to be a short price. Moon Cash is interesting. Like my kind of long shot, you like the 7, my dear Antonia.
Okay.
Bourbon and Lace is sort of my long shot, coming off a little bit of a break, was in against My Charm last time out, who came back to place in the Gin Talking with a 62 buyer speed figure. We have a stat for Bourbon and Lace. Anthony Pecoraro, who had a winner yesterday.
Yes, the opener.
With a first-time starter. Experienced horses, first-time blinkers, 4 for the last 11, 36%, a $4.40 return on investment. So maybe the blinkers wake Bourbon and Lace up a little bit at a price. 7415 for Keith, 1453 for me. We're just getting started. 4 down, 5 to go on Saturday edition of Today at the Races. We'll be back in a minute.
Baltimore! To the city of Baltimore, to all the fans watching around the world, riders up!
They're off in the Preakness.
All eyes of the world will be on Baltimore.
They're head and head. Seabiscuit leads by a length. Seabiscuit is the winner.
And it was a powerhouse race again by the big, strong Secretariat.
Sunday Silence takes the lead at the quarter pole. American Barrow, phenomenal in the Preakness. And the filly did it! Rachel Alexandra! Here is Smarty Jones. He wins the Preakness by a dozen lengths. She's the brave, wins the Preakness.
Welcome back to Today at the Races on a Saturday stakes afternoon at beautiful Laurel Park. I'm Dan Ellman. This is Keith Fustel. Race number 5 is coming up. It is a pretty nice first-level allowance race going a mile and a 16th. $49,000 is the purse. Let's take out one half of the entry, the one Stronzino. Let's also scratch the 4 Cocktails at Noon. This is the first leg of our 50-cent value pick 5, the late pick 5, which has carryover potential, which means if you don't hit the pick 5, we'll have a nice carryover into tomorrow's card. Low 12% takeout. It's a great bet, and our colleague Mackenzie Pfeiffer has a ticket for everybody.
What you got today? A $40 ticket with a single to get you started right off the bat. 1A War Master stays in for Jamie Ness. 7-5 on the morning line. Might creep up just a little bit with that Stronzino coming out, but he's been steady. Has War Master going to maybe need a little help up front? Right back with a single. Race number 6-5. Spencer Tierra. What a different filly this one's been with the blinkers going on. Race 7. Gonna take quite a few here. 4 deep. 2, 4, 5, and 7 in the Wide Country Stakes. The value there. Probably the 7, Shakira Fire. Race 8, the All Button, the Miracle Wood Stakes. Scratch the 3, Studley Do Right. Evenly matched field in race number 8. I guess all the hard ways will be your long price in there. But, yeah, he's been holding pretty good form here of late. A good win, got a good ride last time out. And wrap it up in race 9 with the 4, 5, 6, and 7. A couple of interesting first-time starters included in her ticket. The 4, Rena is Fire, and the 6, High Path for Brittany Russell. You got Gary Cap, Brittany Russell, very, very dangerous with the first-time starters. It's a $40 late value pick 5 ticket for our own Mackenzie Pfeiffer.
Mackenzie likes the 1A War Master, and so do you in race number 5. This is a horse got up for second last time out. Might have caught a speed favor in track. I know he caught a very sharp horse.
He caught a very sharp horse, a horse we saw win yesterday clear by about 2 and change for Gary Capuano. Was that 3 or 4 in a row for Secret Zipper? So he's on to bigger and better things. But War Master is another one. He's a horse I've always liked, but he might need just a little bit of help up front. He just might get it as well. I think Virginia City is sharp right now. Derbiness as well. These look like the 2. So I'm hoping they get engaged. I think they certainly will by the time of the 3As. And I don't think Virginia City is going to really give in too much initially. So that one and Derbiness get involved. War Master, he doesn't have that big run, but he's got enough of a grind. His figures are consistent enough. You talk about being a victim of the way that surface played last time. If you have a fairer track today, I think he can move up and get it done.
I'm curious to see how this pace unfolds. You make a good point about Virginia City being forward. Heck, she's been forward in her last 2. He's been forward in his last 2 races, showing speed. I do think Derbiness might be slightly faster coming out of the gate, and I do like this horse getting back out around 2 turns. Going the 1-turn mile last time out, he was pressing some solid fractions, 24, then 23 and 3 for the second quarter, while 4 wide, 6 path. Eventually made the lead and got tired. Now, this horse has burned a lot of money and might be a relatively short price today. But I think getting around 2 turns, he's going to relax a little bit better, either on the lead or sitting off Virginia City, getting the jump on a horse like War Master turning into the stretch. I want to give Derbiness one more chance.
Well, let's see if they maybe tweak the blinkers a little bit with this guy as well, because he used to have that ability. Sat a little bit further back in his races and brought a little bit more of a finish. The blinkers went on, and he's been a little bit more, I don't want to say keyed up, but he's definitely been a little bit more on the bit and ready to go in these races. Getting back out to 2 turns, we'll see. Maybe he'll get to that nice, relaxed shadowing trip, or try to throw the knockout punch by the time they hit the far turn.
Now, in the Open, you talked about a horse like Hornbeam. That is sort of a horse you kind of got on a little bit late.
Yes.
Off the Farrier Claim. Listen, that's a good angle. And last time out, they ran, 1, 2, 3, all the way around the track. I just don't think the flow was to Hornbeam's liking.
No. And the time before that, Afraid of the Bunny, again, caught 4 to 5 wide against that one going for. You've got Farrier off the claim, and I think you've been running a little. We've had that stat recently about that. He's been going great guns. This barn is on a little bit of a tear with a winner of Shape Note. Got it done yesterday. You go 3 back, just missing a starter. Well, I see these starters very equivalent to a first-level allowance. The numbers stack up. Does he need a little bit of flow? Yes, I think he's going to get enough. And I think at this kind of number with Forrest Boyce, we talk about the inside-out trip. You're going to get it with Hornbeam. He's going to be back there just settling and spying. Man, if I see a 47 and change go up and like a 12 and change 3/4, I'm going to be liking what I'm seeing with Hornbeam at a price.
Give me a 49 because I want a 2-speed number. 6'3". Virginia City might be the horse with the most upside in this field. I think he's going to be close to the pace. 1A, 2, 5, and 6 for Keith. 6'3", 1A, 7 for me in race number 5. The kickoff leg of our late 12% takeout value pick 5. Let's move on to race number 6. Race number 6 is a state-sired allowance. These are for fillies and mares. We're going 3/4 of a mile. Take out the 2. Genie in a Bridle. It's another very competitive race. It's also the kickoff leg of our 50-cent late pick 4 this afternoon, which of course features 2 stakes races. This is a pretty interesting group in here, Keith. I want to start things off with your top selection. Take the Money Honey. We have a trainer stat for trainer Mike Moore, a good dude that I've known for a long time from Parks. This barn has been going hot recently. January 28th, February the 15th, 6 for 17, $2.68 ROI. Now, this horse, there's a lot of stories going on here.
Yeah, went at the meet. 4-year-old filly maker, only her second career start. The debut was dazzling. I mean, it didn't come away the greatest. Was lucky enough Okay, and the 9-horse field found a seam within the first 16th of a mile to go ahead and get through and then prompt the issue. And then around the turn, it was over. I'd say kind of ridden out, just a very late stretch, wrapped up nearing the wire. Beat a nice horse. Now it's going back to July. Beautiful Crazy Girl, 82 recently when galloping, going long in a good field. She's going to have to be tied on. The stat encouraged me. It looks like a ton of upside. I don't know what. Maybe you have some insight on the break from July, but man, I think her and Spencer Tierra, it could be really a lot of fun on the front end. They look, both of them, with Spencer Tierra with the blinkers going on. We'll show that video in a second, but take the money, honey. You think she'll be able to bounce back?
I think she's getting to the front in here. I think he's going to be fresh off this long layoff. Right. Now, this horse was entered once the month after the debut at Monmouth Park, was scratched that day and hasn't been seen since, so something obviously went wrong. But I do trust this barn. I do trust this rider to be aggressive out of the gate, and I just think Take the Money, Honey's going to be fresh. Now, will that work against the horse like the 5 Spencer Tiara? We have a video spotlight. This is a horse that when the blinkers have come on has been very aggressive out of the gate and has been forwardly placed, as we see in this race at Aqueduct.
Yeah, she recovered from a little bit of a bobble at the break, but got right into it, into the bit, and handled the pressure. I love the way Ken saw it. Was a beautiful rating job around the turn. Nurse with pursuers behind this duel. She's being able to kind of shake free here, top of the stretch. Really, when he goes ahead and sets her down, she opens up, spurts away 2 to 3, and holds on late. This is at 6.5. We're going to back up to 3/4 today. But what a difference the blinkers have made, going from a higher 30, a higher 50 buyers up and 80 to an 83 in her most recent. She beats a horse here, Grammy Girl coming on. She came back and threw up an 87. So Spencer Tierra, yes, will she be okay? Maybe prompting the pace. The break, the first 16th, is going to be critical for both the 4 and the 5.
That's the key. Hopefully J.G. Torrealba can get Spencer Tiara to relax a little bit. If Takes the Money, Honey really wants to go and sit right there, get the jump on the true closers. But you're right, strong field last time out for Spencer Tiara, who is my top selection. Isn't Bondiva just going to trip out here? I know we've had a couple of disagreements up in the press box about Bondiva's last 2 races. 2 starts back, it looked like she had it won. Yeah. You guys up there said she hung a little bit. I said maybe a better horse beat her. Last time out, she made the lead again in the stretch. Maybe some folks thought she hung. I thought she ran better than it looked. Look at those splits, 23 and 2, 23 and 3. She's battling for the lead. She makes the lead. She understandably gets tired. Forrest is going to have her in a great spot tracking these 2.
Absolutely great spot. I like her better here at the 6 furlongs, 2 over 3 wins at 6. You're right, moved into those internals, got the lead, just a little bit of fade. Willard's a little grumpy sometimes.
He certainly is.
So the 2-back try of the Comet might have been a touch harsh, but you know what? He's been on a long time. He's one of the best chart garlers in the country. He's done a phenomenal job. But yeah, we're going to keep him around. But Bondiva should be perched coming to the top of the stretch, ready to roll into this flow. It's a good race. Spencer Tierra out of a triple key race last time out.
It'd be interesting to see what we get from Dazzy. Turning back from a mile and an eighth to 3/4 of a mile. I know this horse can sprint successfully, but are you worried in a situation like this with this just deep cutback in distance? Maybe he's outrun early?
I would think she's outrun early. I don't see her maybe 4 or 5 out of it once they leave the far turn. She's going to have to ramp it up. I mean, you've got, obviously, take the money, honey, a little bit of improvement at 7-8. You think she's going to last. And Bondiva, she looks like she's going to put up a fight every step of the way. So I don't know if this field is really going to come back to her. We shall see. She better be ramping it up by the quarter pole.
Time for the stakes portion of our program, beginning with race number 7. We're going 7/8 of a mile. It's the $100,000 wide country for 3-year-old fillies. It stays intact. Icona Mama, the 2, is the 2-to-1 morning line favorite. And we'll start things off with Icona Mama going out for trainer Flint Stites. We have a trainer stat for Flint Stites and Icona Mama. 2 to 4 month layoffs on dirt, 14 for the last 70, 20%, 245 ROI. Icona Mama had a very good campaign last year, 3rd in a graded stakes race. This horse was 6-to-1 in a grade 1 in New York, and then certainly put the boots to the field last time out at 1-5 at Penn Nat.
Just buried the state breds up there at Penn National, drawing off by 9, 75 buyer coming back. Where has she been? The stat gives you a little bit of hope there. The only thing knock I had when I looked at it, I looked at the 3-back race, the Pocahontas at Churchill. My comment is no one really set the world on fire next time out. So I'm just not quite sure. She's going to have to be tied on right out of the box at 7/8 of a mile against this group. But certainly it looks like the talent's there. I know I read some comments from trainer Flynn Stites. It looks like she's been pretty mature and ready to go. So he's got confidence in this filly by Maximus Mischief.
I went with Onyx 10 in here, and it's usually a play I don't like. Horses coming off real good trips. Onyx 10 had a really nice trip last time out. Stumbled a little bit leaving the gate, but just found a really nice position just off the pace hitters. The rail opened up, and Onyx 10 took advantage. But I like the way she finished that race off going 3/4. I don't think 7/8 is going to be an issue, and I think this pace will be legitimate to set things up for Onyx 10's last run. Gary Capp's been going on a roll.
Yeah, absolutely. Gary Capp is loaded today. He's got 3 horses in a row that look very good, 7, 8, and 9. The first we'll see, but proven here in races 7 and 8. And the speed you're talking about, I guess New Boots is going to try to go ahead and send
Field
maybe
of Roses,
the 2 a little
maybe.
bit. What's that?
Field of Roses, maybe.
Absolutely. 2 for 2 here for Farrier and even Safe Trust. Let's go to the video of Safe Trust real quick. We've got her into the mix. This was really good. Now, Mosler on an off track last time, a muddy sill surface. First off, a little bit of a break. This was impressive to me.
Absolutely. This is a first start off of a layoff, and, you know, sometimes you just expect these horses to need it, especially this time of year when you could be missing some training time because, you know, the weather's so bad. Safe Trust just shows sharp speed, puts this horse away on the inside, and just keeps on grinding it out. It's a really good performance, considering that the horse that she's battling with is also 5-2 and just tires very badly to finish 6th. We know this horse has ability. She showed it, earning a couple of stakes placings last year, and she doesn't need the lead to win. Good outside attack post. Jose Corrales last out winners, 21%, 203.
Yeah, that was super strong. She just toyed with the horse to her inside. And that was a horse that I liked. That was in my memories, right, for Farrier, who'd come off a really visually impressive performance. So Safe Trust on or near the lead. I think she can stay the 7/8. I like the grinding style of Onyx 10. But, yeah, what do you think you're going to get? Shakira Fire now third off a little bit of a break. She's ramped up a couple nice runs her last 2. Maybe the 7/8 hits her right between the eyes.
I think it does. I think now that she's going third off the layoff is a big angle for her, and I think there's a chance that there's a barbecue in front in this race, and it sets things up for Shakira Fire's late kick. So I wonder if just this race is what they've been pointing off for all along. She faced in my memory. She got wired off the bench going 5.5. A little bit better last time out. Onyx 10 had a better trip. I think this time might be the time for your second choice, Shakira Fire.
Yeah, and Field of Roses, I take nothing away from both of those performances. From a buyer standpoint, has to improve a little bit, but they've got faith in this 3-year-old filly.
5, 7, 4, and 2 for Keith. 5, 2, 4, and 7 for me in race number 7. And now we'll move on to race number 8, the $100,000 Miracle Wood Stakes. 3-year-olds going a 1-turn mile. Scratch the 3, the morning line favorite, Studley Do Right. He will participate a little bit later today at Turfway Park over there, Topeta Surface in the Battaglia Memorial. Sacred Thunder now becomes the horse to beat. Let's watch Sacred Thunder in a couple of these last time out. And Sacred Thunder, listen, he's had nothing but bad luck recently, and it continued in the Spectacular Bid.
Yeah, he didn't get off the greatest either, just a little bit slowly from the inside. He was able to regain it, recover, get a little bit of position. But, man, this is just a nightmarish trip from, say, the 3/8 pole to very, very late. Cruising well in hand, Barbadian Runner, the eventual winner, is going to hem that one in, top of the stretch, and he's just paused from here.
And nothing Torrey Alba could do. There's just no room. And by the time Sacred Thunder gets clean, it's just too late because Barbadian Runner and Forest Boyce just got the jump on him. But take a look at this last 16th of a mile from Sacred Thunder. The way he was cruising, entering the turn, and the way he finishes makes you think that if he had a clear run earlier, he might have won this thing. And now he gets an extra furlong. I know Gary's not happy about drawing the rail again, but it's a 5-horse field. We've got a mile with a long stretch to the second wire. He's very dangerous.
And I think 2 of these horses are going to go ahead and go. Crab Daddy, very eager last time with the blinkers on. I think we'll be hard-pressed not to keep on or near the lead along with Pay Billy. So even a little bit of a hesitation from that inside post of the mile, which we see a lot at Laurel Park when you watch these mile races, I think he can kind of go get close enough and do it within himself, so he's not going to have to expend too much energy after that first half of a mile.
It's the class test for Pay Billy in this race as he steps up after 2 consecutive victories. I like that when they turned him back to a sprint, that this horse was able to stay within range and grind it out because he just looks and acts like a horse that wanted distance. And we saw that last time out. Now, he got a great ride that day. Slow pace up front, but I really like the way he sprinted on home. I think he's coming into his own, and I think the pace in the short field like this won't be blazing, so he'll be in with a big chance turning for home.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the first quarter of a mile. How does Crab Daddy handle it? How does Villalobos handle it with Crab Daddy? How does Mena handle it with Pay Billy? These two
Riders race.
They could walk the dog a little bit here. If things shake free and you see 25 and one open up first, that wouldn't be surprising. Pay Billy, he's just really good right now, and the way he turned away those horses top of the stretch and kicked away with vigor scares me. The only knock, coming off of Lasix, this has been an 0 for 8 kind of a move, switch off of Lasix for the last year or two for Michael Korn. But, man, he is putting it together right now. I certainly fear Pay Billy.
Good race. Crab Daddy's got speed. Of course, Barbadian Runner just beat some of these last time out. Forrest gave this horse a really nice ride, just sort of followed the flow on the outside, made the lead. And Barbadian Runner, ever since Henry Walters changed the bit and added the blinkers, this horse has been straighter in the stretch, and that's been key. And perhaps with more maturity, will continue that trend.
You look at these horses, I mean, this could be a blanket to the wire, that last 3/16 of a mile. We got ourselves a really good horse race in the Miracle Wood. Crab Daddy, like I say, he was keyed up last time, let him go into it, and he was battling back at the wire. Love the effort. Crab Daddy, 4 straight 7/8 of a miles, going to head out to the mile today. I don't think that's going to be a huge impact for him. So pick your poison. I'm just taking a trouble horse, Sacred Thunder.
Horse to beat, in my opinion. 1-4-2-5 for Keith, 5-2-4-1 for me. Let's close things out with race number 9, Maiden Special. 3/4 of a mile, 3-year-old fillies. Take up the 3. Antonacci Girl, 2-1 on the number 5. Divine Works, a horse that's taken a ton of money in in 2 of her races. Consider that Trombi doesn't win first out a lot. This horse is 2-1 in a 10-horse field at Saratoga. The word was out, and she just happened to catch a runaway. Then they run her back in the Maryland Million Lassie. She's 5-2 in a 12-horse field, and she catches 3 next out winners that day. This might be the spot, but we got to deal with the layoff. We do have a stat though for Divine Works.
Yeah, Mike Trombetta, third-time starters. These made 4 for the last 17. 24% hit rate with a 221 ROI. That's good, and you're right. Had enough confidence to throw right into the Maryland Million Lassie, went right into the teeth of that pace, and just fizzled. Now, that was a tough ask after moving into that 12-post. Shorter field here, not a lot as much to deal with, but I'll tell you what, you got some firsters here that could be really tied on from very good first-time starter outfits.
And you're going to go with one of them for Brittany Russell, and very few better than Brittany with first-time starters. And High Path apparently has some pedigree and some strong-looking works.
Yeah, first fall, McKenzie, 13-14% with the first-time starter. But I like the reason it was working at Fair Hill, now coming in for a couple works over this surface to get acquainted with it. High Path, a little shot, tab the tote, going to take I don't know if we're going to get much more than 5-2 on this one. But the Gary Caprown Arena is fires very interesting. I know you talked to him a little bit about this 3-year-old filly by Blofeld.
Yeah, seems like this horse has a little bit of speed. Gary told me she's a little bit of a nervous filly, so we'll see what we get from her in the paddock. But she's by Blofeld. We know that horse does very well with first-time starters. The dam won 2 dirt sprints. The third dam was a Group 1 winner on both turf and dirt in Argentina. I just like the workouts for Rena is Fire, and we do have a trainer stat for Gary Capuano. Rena is Fire. First-time starters on dirt, 6 for the last 15. 40%, 244 return on investment. Mo Hype, though, is going to show some speed in here. And again, we talk about layoff horses might having trouble this time of the year because of the weather. It sort of interrupts the training schedule. That's going to work against first-time starters potentially as well. Maybe if they're not fit enough, it works to horses like Divine or horses like Mo Hype, who's been racing.
Absolutely. It was sharp speed last time out. Second off the break, we saw Rob hit with that angle yesterday. I think Great White Fleet is still a horse you might want to take into consideration if you're down a couple bucks and you're looking for a horse to maybe get out with. I thought the try against Complexity Jane wasn't too bad. Going first-time Lasix outside to inside. Yes, there will be speed in here. Patience could pay off here for Kevin Gomez. Go ahead, right back and spy the speed. But at that kind of number, late in the day, if you're looking for something in that 10-1 range, she might just be the perfect option. And there it is. We had another audible win. We had an audible exacta yesterday.
No, I really thought this horse ran sneaky well last time out, Keith. I agree with you 100%. Just not a hard chase at a big price, first-time blinkers, and then hung in there pretty well. Maybe the Lasix on
That
gets
could
her
be
over
big.
the top at a decent price. 6,254 for Keith, 4,526 for me. Best play time for the Saturday card. Keith, what you got?
Yeah, okay. We're going to go to a little bit of value. I think I ended up going value play more so than maybe a top shorter price best bet. Well, this is a good bet too. My dear Antonio at 12-1 for Mancia. The blinkers came off last time. I like the effort. Caught a little bit of wide, a little grind to the stretch, through the stretch against a horse that came back and ran well yesterday. I hate the post. I wish we were positioned a little bit more inside, but we've got to kind of get through that opening quarter of a mile to get Poe. I think this one, exacta try super user, maybe a couple bucks to win, and then work it from there.
I was torn between Beach Cowboy, the speed in the third race, and my top play, the 6 Derbyness, 5-2 on the morning line. I wouldn't take much less than that. I do think, though, this horse is going to get close to the pace. I think stretching out to a mile and 60 actually works for him. I think it's going to help this horse relax on the back stretch.
Okay.
Fun card today.
Fun card. You touched upon it. I'm looking at like a likely winner. You talked about Beach Cowboy. That scratch, I think, of Enchilada is huge. Sarah DeFabro, just an alert break. I think just go to the front, and you're not going to get much price, but going to take you a long, long way, if not all the way.
Track is fast. First post time, 12:10 Eastern. Our colleagues, Callie Francois, Mackenzie Pfeiffer, Dave Rodman, take you through the day with handicapping and analysis. And speaking of Dave Rodman, let's go up top to Dave for scratches and changes.
Good luck.